LoreWarrior Armour Double Feature. SRM LRM Carrier. Overview. In the period immediately following the Truce of Tukid, the AFFC once again began to improve their conventional units and regimental combat teams, this time concentrating on better equipping their troops. The commission of new and improved designs of standard long and short-range missile carriers was an important part of this effort. The first new SRM carriers rolled off the production line in late 3054, with the first new LRM carriers appearing approximately a year later. The Federated Commonwealth had relied on Quicksell, based on the planet Oliver, for regular supply of missile carriers for many years, and it's ironic then that, having invested billions of C-bills into the development of these new vehicles, the Federated Commonwealth lost both Oliver and Quicksell to the Free Worlds League in the recent Marek-Lau invasion of the Sarna March. Captain General Marek intends to allow Quicksell to honour its contract with the Federated Commonwealth, but will most assuredly extract a price from his rival for that concession. Capabilities. Though the improved SRM carrier has changed little from the original design, Quicksell's modifications offer a substantial improvement in performance. Lexington Limited high-grade armour replaces the conventional plating mounted on the original, providing slightly more protection. Replacing one SRM launcher with a Doring Electronics Glowworm NARC system and installing more sophisticated seeker heads on the missiles provides a higher on-target hit rate. The LRM carrier underwent a more drastic overhaul. Quicksell replaced the original power plant with an Intercombust 120, reducing its speed but freeing enough tonnage to attach an Artemis system to each of the Farfire launchers. The extra space also increases the available ammunition by 3 tons, with advanced C3 targeting electronics rounding out its redesign, allowing the vehicle to perform as part of a linked fire network. Like the SRM carrier, the improved LRM vehicle makes use of Lexington high-grade armour. Deployment. Over the past few years, these vehicles have seen use in a number of engagements against both clan and inner-sphere opponents. The first Kafel Ulans used a number of LRM carriers in their defensive Kornitz, where the vehicle's improved accuracy and endurance effectively broke the clan formation. One of the most notable uses of the SRM carrier occurred in late 3057, when Marek troops attacked the world of Devil's Rock. The largest share of the fighting took place on the streets of Forest City, with engagement ranges often shrinking to less than 100 meters. The Federated Commonwealth defenders used a lance of SRM carriers as hunter-killers, attacking Marek mechs from ambush and killing or crippling whole units with their first volley. The 4 SRM carriers accounted for 2 lances of Marek mechs in approximately 4 hours of fighting. 3058 Upgrade Overview. Part of the massive combat vehicle upgrade program that was undertaken by the then united Federated Commonwealth, both of the widely utilized LRM and SRM carriers were upgraded and distributed among many regimental combat teams. When the Free Worlds League conquered Oliver during the brief Marek-Lau invasion of Operation Guerrero, sales were opened up to the rest of the inner sphere, and once Quicksell's contractual production runs were completed for the Federated Commonwealth, the upgraded missile carriers would spread themselves to most major vehicle regiments, including the typically low-tech periphery states. Capabilities. Quicksell decided not to mess with the proven concept of large quantities of missile racks on their vehicles, and instead concentrated on improving the accuracy and their survivability. The newly developed high-grade ferrofibrous armour was mounted, and in the case of the SRM carrier, a single glowworm NARC being mounted throughout. Though promising when it first came out in the technological renaissance, many crews complained about the need to land the NARC beacon before their advanced SRM munitions would make any difference, and their limited ammo supply restricts their ability to fire freely to gain a hit. The LRM carrier, by contrast, has been met with a better reception from various militaries. Instead of relying on prerequisite means, each long-range missile rack is linked to an Artemis fire control system mounted in the launcher, and this automatically increases the accuracy of each salvo, regardless of the target. To assist further with an integrated company, a C3 system allows improved targeting data to be fed to the crew, and this compensates for all the added equipment. The original's internal combustion engine has been reduced to a 120 rating, dropping its speed by a third. Deployment. During Operation Sovereign Justice, a clerical error resulted in the misshipment of special LRM munitions to a company of LRM carriers on Lau instead of Artemis-capable and semi-guided rounds for the launchers. The company would receive a shipment of Thunder-augmented Thunder Active. A mixed company of the 8th Certus Fusiliers was approaching their position, and the company had no way to combat them. In an effort then to buy time, the launchers began saturating a large swathe of the area in Thunder munitions, and when the company attempted to cross, they quickly found themselves in the middle of a minefield. Jump-capable units attempted to jump over the fields only to find the mines launching up into them, and after several hundred meters of attempting to make it through the field, and several disabled vehicles and mechs later, the company painfully turned around and went back the way it came, losing several more vehicles and battle mechs before their retreat was complete. Variants. The lack of popularity of the SRM carrier has made Quixel reevaluate their upgrade and look into ways to make it more effective and more popular. The current one that they're advertising removes the NARC and replaces it with a C3 Slave and a Guardian ECM suite. Their most radical variant is almost an entirely new design in and of itself. Instead of SRMs, the MRM carrier mounts 3 MRM-30s. A C3 Slave is put on the vehicle, and it's often paired with a unit mounting an ECM in a hidden position, as it's too slow to keep up with any sort of swift advance. Marginally more popular, it often cannot travel far from its supply point, as each launcher only has 8 rounds to draw from. Word of Blake has modified their carriers, and it's suspected that they have a secret facility producing SRM and LRM carriers, as their vehicles carry extra light fusion engines, a refit extremely difficult to do in the field. Both carry C3 improved, more armor, and have record speeds 10 to 20 kph faster than Quixel's version, and while the LRM carrier's armament remains the same, the SRM carrier contains packs of turret-mounted Streak 4s, targeting acquisition gear, and Guardian electronics suite. Notable crews: Sangwei Jerry Schmindler. Commander of an LRM carrier company on Lao, Schmindler's quick thinking earned him the Grand Cordon of Merit, and since that skirmish he's made sure his carriers carry at least 2 or 3 tons of augmented thunders, usually 2. And once again, Word of Blake have the bestest of all things. Anyway, mass 60 tons, movement type is tracked, power plant is the Intercom Bust 180 for the SRM carrier and the Intercom Bust 120 for the LRM carrier. This means a cruise of 32 for the SRM and 22 for the LRM respectively, and a flank of 54 and 32. Armour is the Lexington Limited High Grade, and the armament for the SRM is 9 Holly SRM-6 and 1 Doring Electronics Glowworm NARC launcher, while the LRM is 3 Farfire LRM racks. It's manufactured by Quixel on Oliver. Its communication system is Communicator with C3 Link on the LRM, and targeting and tracking is Firescan with Indirect Track and Artemis on the LRM. Stat-wise, this translates into units that move between 3 and 5 cruising and flank on the SRM carrier, while the LRM carrier is 2 and 3. But that's not bad, it's LRM carriers. Its armour for the SRM is 14 on the front, 14 on the sides, 12 on the rear, and is exactly the same on the LRM carrier. Weapons are 9 SRM-6s in the front, with 45 shots with SRM, and a NARC missile beacon also located in the front with 6 shots, of NARC beacons. While the LRM carrier has 3 LRM-20s located in the front with 3 Artemis 4 fire control systems also located in the front, and 36 shots split between the 3 located in the body with a C3 Slave unit. Definitely one of the most absolutely terrifying unit combinations you can ever come up against. It's glass cannon in the extreme, a unit that can die relatively quickly under a vast majority of combat fire from a couple of mechs, or certain single mechs if they're obviously within the optimum range value. 14 armor isn't a lot, and obviously the vehicles don't have much in the way of internals once they are penetrated, so it means that they can die quickly, but they can also cause you to die quickly. Triple LRM-20s is a terrifying prospect, and the idea of a lance of these things just being sat somewhere. Also with a C3 Slave, remember, so if the master unit is equipped and is up close to the target, that means that you're rolling on whatever range that the master unit is, not the range of the vehicle itself. That can mean that you can end up in a scenario where a fast-moving, say, vehicle or a helicopter, or even a mech, can then basically get close enough to be short range, and all of your LRM carriers are now rolling at short range with no penalty for their to hit rolls, and that means that's a lot of missiles dumping on you very, very quickly. It also helps that the unit is relatively cheap by comparison as well. A lot of other armoured vehicles are quite expensive. As far as I remember, SRM and LRM carriers are cheap. Because, yeah, they are literally just slow-moving vehicles that just dump a ton of missiles. The 3 and 5 speed is a little bit of a drawback for the SRM carrier, and certainly means that it should only really be deployed in more close quarters combat zones, but that's more of a common sense thing rather than dumping it onto a field that's very wide open. As scary as it is to roll 9 SRM6s, it's also something that, provided the opposing players aren't too stupid, they'll just keep distance from and just kill it from range. But they are definitely something that's fun to put into a scenario just to keep players on their toes. You chuck it in there and you see how they react, and sometimes they get very serious about it, and other times they get rather blasé and they don't pay attention, and then you can roll up something like an LRM carrier and it dumps a hell of a lot of missiles onto somebody, and it's their fault really, not yours. They're fun, easy to use, simple units, and should definitely be something that you keep on hand. Sometimes another good one is if players are being a dickhead on your table, an LRM carrier can very quickly sort that problem out, because, well, oh, look at that, they got all those hits on you. Oh, that's a shame, isn't it? But, of course, Word of Blake have to have the bestest version ever of the fucking thing. It's just ridiculous. It's like a perfectly good write-up like that, just talking about the unit and the company. Again, nice getting all this information about Quicksell. Great little write-up. And then the last little bit there, just for notable crews. Word of Blake have got a modified version. Oh, there's Go Quicker. Oh, they've got an improved C3. Oh, there's a built in the back cave by Bruce Wayne. It's all secret and amazing, isn't it? They're so edgy. It's like, oh, fuck off. I can't be arsed with the Word of Blake. It's so terribly written. Oh, it's just, whoever created them were like, they're my bad guys, and they're the best bad guys, and they're better than the clans, and they're better than such and such, and these people, and they're going to be my thing, and they're going to be super great and amazing, and I know they'll lose eventually, but they'll kill as loads of the good guys as possible. Like, go away, please. I'm sick of hearing you. Fucking wobbies. Anyway, have a good one, everybody. Thanks for listening. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.